friends, welcome back to my channel. So I was asked if by a subscriber if I would do a comparison between Faber-Castell Polychromous pencils and the Brutfuners. Excuse me. So to start out with, I have a swatch that I have done right here, and let me zoom in as much as I can here, so you can hopefully see a little better. I am still missing a few. They are on their way from Blick, and while Blick is cheaper, they for whatever reason insist on shipping from California, so it's kind of slow getting, but I'm missing about 10. So hopefully they should be coming soon. But anyway, so I anxiously await that. I think they'll come today. So, but the colors that I do have, I have swatched here, and they are Faber-Castells are really unique. I was told, I read it somewhere, that the reason why they lay down like they do is because the Faber-Castells have a little bit of mineral oil infused into the core, and that's what causes them to lay down like they do. Now I can't say if any of the other oil-based pencils are like that, but I know that the Faber-Castells are. And as you can tell, while my swatching is not perfect, these are some pretty good colors. And hold on a second. Sorry about that background. My apologies. Anyway, as you can see, I've also taken notes here for different mixes, like olive skin, dark skin, various things that I've picked up. I did a picture which I'm working on the background. The background is a work in progress, so please no judgments. I stink at backgrounds. I'm just not even going to deny it. This is Inktense, and I think I'm going to try to put some gelatos over it. But anyway, the girl herself, aside from the sparkly bits, is done entirely in Faber-Castell Polychromous pencils. Oops, there we go. So that's, and this is on mixed media paper, which is why I did it, because I wanted to be able to experiment with the background. But she herself, aside from the as I said, from the sparkly bits, it's done entirely in the Faber-Castell. I think she came out pretty good. So I'm crossing my fingers on the background. But they come in, the max set comes in 120. Pretty nice even set of colors, you know, between yellows, reds, blues, greens. They have an excellent set of grays, mix of grays. Oh my goodness, their sets of grays are phenomenal. So let's see, going to the Brutfuners, and this thing, by the way, is heavy. It probably weighs about freaking 5 pounds. Let's see. I'm trying to find my Brutfuners. Yes, I have that many pencils. Alright, here we go. Alright. These are the Brutfuners. Oops. These are the Brutfuner 120. And as you can see, I hope, let me back up just a little. Oh, wrong way. Hold on a second. There we go. My camera's being stupid. I apologize. This is the 120 set, and the reason why there's only numbers is because and I'll show you in a bit, the pencil names are in Chinese. Just like, yeah, I don't read Chinese, so I just put the numbers in. As you can see, the colors are pretty vibrant, so I apologize for the shine. I laminated it, so the colors are pretty nice. They lay down differently than the Brutfuner 180s. Now, that's not to say that the Brutfuner 180s are, you know, crap. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry about the dog. It's not even my dog. Anyway, the 180s just, I think, have a different composition, a different core composition. I think the 120s have more oil in them. That's just my thought. And I've got a few mixes that I did here. I did the Brutfuner 120 Flamingo, and I put down the pencils, and then I forgot to write I did the other Flamingo from Worlds of Wonders. I forgot to write down the numbers for the 180 Flamingo. Lovely. Anyway, this is the Brutfuner oil-based 180 set, and as you can see, the colors really are decent. I mean, they do lay down a little bit harder. The pencil is a little bit harder than the other one, but the colors are pretty vibrant, and that's the picture I did with just the 180s. And I got some mixes, so there's that. I'm gonna put this away, and I'm going to pull out my pencils. First of all, I'm going to start with, now I don't have a case for the Polychromous. The only thing I ever bought in a set was the retro set and the retro tin. And the tin is cool, but I don't recommend getting the set. Do not get the retro set. The tin is cool, but the pencils, not only are the numbers sometimes different because it's the original set, but it only comes with the numbers and not the names. So I had to kind of guess the names equivalents. It was really annoying. I really don't recommend it. Now, I bought most of the rest of mine unopened stock, and I will also put the name of this pencil case and the other one that I'm going to show you in the description because they are amazing. I mean, the handle and the pocket, and, I mean, a zipper pouch. They're amazing. This set holds so much pencils, it's ridiculous. The other one is the same size, and it holds the 120 set and the 180 set. Now, granted, they're a little jammed in, but still, it works. So, I'm going to open this up, and whoops, I'm going to try to open it and show you. Oh, okay. So these, it's a little disorganized, but that's kind of my life. And these are the pencils. They come in a pretty nice selection of, as I said, of colors. There's some pretty vibrant blues and reds and purples. They're really nice. I mean, I would say their selection of browns are probably the best I know of. Their selection of browns just, to me, are their best asset. The grays and the browns really are their best feature. The browns will allow you to do so much, it's ridiculous. And these are some of the rest of them. Sorry that, like I said, sorry they're a little disorganized, but I was doing a whole big deal, and I was just kind of jamming them away and not putting them away like I should. I do keep my grays organized though pretty strictly because there's such an awesome selection of grays. I like to keep them sorted special. These are over here, the metallics right here. The copper, the gold, silver, and I think there's a bronze. And that's kind of the rest of them. Like I said, I'm only missing about 10. And I'm going to mention this just because I have them here. These are the Goldfabers. I will also give a little info about these because they're actually really nice. They're the student grade, Faber-Castell student grade pencils, and they're actually not bad. Most of your artist grade pencils are made with incense cedar, and the student grade ones like this one are probably going to be made from basswood or poplar, but these really are pretty decent. They come in a selection of 48, I think it's the max. They're actually pretty nice. I actually would recommend them. So that is the Faber-Castell Polychromous, and that's the majority of them. I love them, honestly. They're very unique. So, oh my god, this thing weighs a ton. This is also from the same company. I can't pronounce it because it's Chinese, but I may have to split this set up because it's just so flippin' heavy. So, I'm going to scoot out just a little. Whoop, wrong way. Okay, sorry. This is the 180 set, and one of the best features about the 180 set is its metallic selection. It has the most amazing selection of metallics. Hopefully you can see. They're right over here in the corner. I keep these sorted out too. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know, like 15, I think, metallics. It's pretty nice. I mean, they have a good selection of browns, and greens, and some more greens, and some more reds, pinks, and oranges, yellows, more greens. And then I love they have the most intense selection of purples. There's some blues, and then you got your grays and darker blues, more purples. It's a little disorganized, but that's the 180. Oh, I forgot to show you. Dang, I'm sorry. Hold on. This, I'm going to pull out a Polychromous pencil so you can see what they look like. I forgot. I'm totally sorry. So this is what the pencil looks like. It has the company name, and then right here. Oops, wrong way. My bad. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Polychromous, and then Faber-Castell, and then there's a barcode on it, which whatever. And right there is the pencil name and number, and the little stars. I don't know if you can see. You might not be able to, but there's some stars at the end of it. That is the light fastness. And this one in particular has 3 stars, which is, I believe, good. So that's what the Faber-Castell, an example of the Faber-Castell looks like. They're all the same way. This is an example of the 180. By the way, they're both about 3 mm cores, 3 millimeters. I think the Faber-Castells, the regulars, might be a little thicker than the Goldfabers. And the Faber-Castells might be they might be like a 3.3. I think they're like a 3.3. And then their Goldfabers are like 3. So these, I believe, are also 3. And so the 3.3 and the Faber-Castell Polychromous makes them just a little bit bigger. These are pretty thin. So, but it has the, where is it? The name and then the number, and it's capped, which I like. Not everybody does. I like it. It gives it a finished look. That has the name and the brand name. So that's kind of what those look like. Oops, hopefully you can see. Ta-da! Okay. And there's no light fatness rating on these pencils, because I mean they're budget pencils. But for budget pencils, they're really nice. Now, onto the 120 set. Let's see. This is kind of the 120 set. I think I'm going to have to break this up because this is so heavy. But, I mean, they're really nice. They have an excellent selection of grays and metallics. And they're very, like the Faber-Castell Polychromous, the 120s are really vibrant. They are more vibrant than the 180s. The 180s are vibrant for a budget pencil. They're not bad. They're really not. I do recommend them. But I will say that the 120 is a little more vibrant. And it just goes back to the fact that I think that they have a little more oil in them. The composition of the core is different. Now, to look at a sample of the pencil, this is what I mean about the pencil name is in Chinese, they're not capped, which I don't like. It's just an aesthetic preference, but this is what the end looks like. And it has the pencil name on the other end in Brutfuner. So, and I do like the square. I have to say, I've held triangle pencils. Ergosoft and the new Artisas are triangle, and I kind of like the triangle shape the best. But this square, it takes a little getting used to, but I do kind of like it because it lays flat against your finger instead of your finger laying against, I don't know, it is a little more ergonomic. Let's see, whoops, hold on. Yeah. They do sharpen pretty nicely for a budget pencil. About the same as the 180. And you can tell where they sharpen a little more, like, not even. Like one side's more exposed than the other. And what that means is that the core might be a little off. And most budget pencils use basswood or poplar, which is not as sturdy or as strong as the cedar. But I do recommend both of these. They're actually, these ones break a little more than the 120s. These do break a little bit, but they also hold their point better. So these are a little bit harder than the 120s. Okay, they are a little bit harder. The Faber-Castells are also a little bit. They're even a little bit harder, though. They're not very thin hard. The Faber-Castells are not as hard as that, which I think the Verithin is their hard pencil. I don't have too many of those. I have some Staedtler hard ones, but the other thing I was going to mention, I'm going to pull out my Fabers again, is to go over a couple things. One, where is it? The Brutfuners, well, not the Brutfuners. I'm going to go over the Fabers some more. The Faber-Castells, the full set, excuse me, the full set is around $180 US, and I went onto Amazon UK, and they run about the same in pounds. It said 180 pounds, which doesn't seem right to me. I don't know, that's the US amount, but it had a little pound sign beside it, so that I'm not entirely sure. The 60 set said 93 pounds. But yeah, it did say 180 pounds, which I'm not entirely sure about that. Don't quote me on that one. But the Faber-Castells do come in open stock, which is, you know, how I've been collecting mine, as I told you. I think they're beautiful pencils. I mean, they hold their point. They don't break that much. Some of my older ones have broken in this one sharpener. I don't know if you could see. It might be off camera. But I think my electric sharpener has seen its last days. But they are so sturdy. They lay down amazing. The Brutfuners do not come in open stock, like the Faber-Castells here. Also, the thing that I want to say about the Faber-Castells is that they, besides not breaking much, they have a pretty good light fastness all the way around. They do vary. The light fastness does vary. Like most have about 3. I don't know if you can tell. This one might be a little bit light. Most have about 3, although I think some are a little less. I'm looking here. Yeah, this one says 3. I'm just pulling out random ones to see if they're any different. And yeah, this one I think says 3. Yeah, most of them seem to be hovering around 3. Yeah, I would say that's about the average is 3. And I think that's pretty good. Now, the Faber-Castells, I think for the 60 set, they run about $109 US dollars. So I would say that I for that, considering it's $180 for the full set. Now, if you have Amazon Prime, you could probably potentially get a better deal. I don't recommend. I know some people have gone to eBay for Faber-Castells and the Polychromous. I don't recommend it, honestly. Too many people use eBay for, to sell dishonest stuff, and I don't trust eBay for nothing. That folks can do what they want, but I don't trust eBay. I've been scammed a couple of times by them. So your best bet really is to go through Amazon, because if something, or Faber-Castell or Brutfuner, directly. I don't know if, well, Brutfuner, probably Amazon would be your best bet. Because if you get, like, say, especially the open stock, I get mine on Blick. You can go through Amazon, I think, and they have some you can get like in a single pencil or in a 12-pack. But if you go to like Blick, or I think Jerry's Artorama, a couple of sites like that, I do recommend Blick, because they're slow, but they have open stock of these, the Goldfabers. They have open stock of a lot of things. So I would highly recommend doing that. Now the Brutfuner, I'm going to put these away for a second. The Brutfuners, pull these back out again. The one thing about the regular set and the square set is, as I said, they do not come in open stock. That's kind of a downside. However, even though they don't come in open stock, their price point is cheap enough that you could probably just get a whole new set and just have extras. The 180 set, if I'm Okay, yeah, the 180 set is, I saw it today on Amazon. They had a limited time deal, which, you know, means get it now while it lasts, I think. For $33 on Amazon, and it was a limited deal. I think the average price point is around $40. Now, the square for 120, the average is about $26. And I'm rounding them up. You know, it's like 25 something and change, but I'm rounding it up to about $26. So for that price, if, like, say if I really wanted to, the one issue I had with these square ones was the white just kept breaking and breaking and breaking and breaking. Every time I sharpened it, it would break. Like, it was probably broke all the way up from, you know, one end to the other. It was just, you know, probably broke from this end, from the tip all the way up. It was the only pencil so far that has happened. So I have enough other whites that I'm just not gonna, you know, make a fuss over it. But for $26, you can just go ahead and, you know, get a whole new set. I mean, it's, you know, same for these. It's, you know, $35 for 180 pencils, 40 on average. That's, you can't really beat that. So there's kind of that. Now, the one thing that I do recommend, sorry, I had to get a drink, is that, oh yeah, the Brutfuners also come with a color chart. The Faber-Castells do also. They both, all three of them come with a color chart. The Goldfabers I picked up in stock at Michael's, so I can't attest to whether they come with a color chart. But I thought I would color a little bit with the Polychromous, just a little bit, so you can kind of see how they lay down. You know, take all day, but I'll do a little bit of work on her shell. Ugh, pull these out. Honestly, one of my most used pencils would have to be this one. This is, and my ivory. Where's my ivory? My ivory is so small, it is ridiculous. You will find that your ivory will go super quick. I'm actually trying to pull it out. It's so small. Look, it's ridiculous. I need to get a new one. Look at that, you guys. But this other one, this I believe is, if I'm not mistaken, is yeah, it's Terracotta. Yeah. This is probably going to be one of your most used pencils, is Terracotta. This thing is great for skin. It's great for, you know, like shells. It's just hair. I mean, this one and ivory, I honestly are just ridiculous how fast you will go through them. Now, if I remember correctly, I'm gonna make this quick. Pull out my pencils here. I'm gonna start with the lightest. I always tend to start with the highlighted areas. That's just my personal thing. Make sure I have all the pencils I used. Alright. I did some shells in this and with these pencils. In that picture I showed you, this one, and I forgot to write down the pencil names and numbers. These shells I did with the Faber-Castell Polychromous. How is that for realistic? Isn't that pretty good? I used a photo reference, which I also highly recommend. But I'm going to zoom in a little and just go over this just a little bit so you can actually see like how it lays down. sure you can see still. Alright, there we go. Ta-da! Okay, good. Always hold from farther back if you can help it, especially when you're putting your initial layer down. You really want to just go light. You don't want to, you know, go in all hardcore with it, because you will not come out with a good picture. And when I'm also doing initial layers like this, I also tend to, especially with the Polychromous, I tend to kind of go in one direction, and with short strokes. And I also turn my pencil, although with the Polychromous, because it holds its point better, you don't have to turn it quite as often as you do the softer pencils. But as you can see, it lays down pretty good. I mean, it's hard to see with the light layer. That's why I'm just going to do this one section right here so that you guys can see how these function. I kind of hate that mine all have barcodes on them because of being open stock. It's sort of annoying. And this image is by Christine Karen. No, not Christine Karen. Marielle Bedeck. Ooh, sorry, my bad. Marielle Bedeck. I've colored so many mermaids, like, honestly, I'm just, sorry. Marielle Bedeck. It's the same one that I got this image from. This is also Marielle Bedeck. And it was part of the Mariola May event, which was awesome. Thank you, Shannon. Shannon Choppenhanes. Very, very fun event. Oh, sorry. TV got a little loud. Alright, so that's my initial layer. Now I'm going to add a little, just a little light layer of this. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you. That is, I have to put it close because I have bad eyes. Yeah, light flesh. I have to bring it up really close to my eyes because I have vision issues, so even with my glasses. This is light flesh. Alright, and this, I believe, is salmon. Yep, salmon pink. Ta-da! Okay. And you see how I'm not kind of holding it like this? Especially with the Polychromous pencils, you want to just kind of build your layers, basically. And it looks like I'm kind of seesawing, but I'm actually not. I'm still just always, because if you push too hard, you see where I did right there, where I pushed a little bit harder, and you can, it makes marks. Like if you really wanted to, here, I'll pull out a separate piece of paper because y'all need to see this. Wait, where is it? Never find anything when I need it, honestly. Pardon me. Alright, I'm going to pull this out, for example. This is Isn't this the coolest little size of drawing pad at Strathmore? This is great drawing paper, by the way. It's very hard to find now. But if you really wanted to, with this Polychromous pencil, the Faber-Castell, you can go light, like I'm doing. And this drawing paper is that I was using. The other was Blick, their Blick brand, which is also pretty good. But you see how light it is. Now, if I really wanted to push, look at these sharp lines you can get. And I'm not pushing that hard. I'm pushing like so-so, you know, I mean medium pressure. I mean, but look how it goes from almost nothing to, and I'm just using medium pressure. Now, if I really wanted to go hard, that's kind of basically how amazing these pencils really are. I mean, look at that vibrancy. It's amazing. It really is. They're a worthwhile investment, honestly. I would strongly suggest that. So you have to be careful when you're putting your layers down not to push too hard. Otherwise you're going to get, you know, marks like this without even trying. So hold it a little bit further back and hold the pencil kind of diagonal instead of, you know, like this. Kind of just lean it back. Give the pencil a rest, you know. Let it go a little horizontal. And I'm using just short little strokes. Now what I'm going to do over here, whoops, that's not what I was trying to do. I'll get it to the page. Sorry guys. This didn't work out, and it's because the angle was weird. You see how nicely I was able to line that? So that it kind of, how do you say it? It kind of stays put and, you know, shows up more. Because I want it to be a little bit bolder there, and when I lay more layers down, I want it to not disappear as much. I mean, it's amazing. Now, I think I'm going to break in this terracotta, and I'm going to show this to you on here first. I adore this color so much. Whoops, light. Really, a light hand, honestly, you don't need to push too hard. I just really can't emphasize that enough. If you color with a heavy hand, holding it this way will help you break that habit, because it's a bad habit. It hurts your hands and it wears out your pencils. Isn't that a beautiful color, you guys? Look at that. It's just, they're so, and these two colors go really nicely together. I could tell you why, but that's another subject for another day. So I'm going to put this in the grayscale area. So basically, Mariola is giving us the shading areas just by doing the grayscale. So if you're afraid of grayscale, don't be. It basically tells you what to do, like where your shadows go. It's like having the answers to the questions in the back of the book, you know? And I'm not pushing too hard, but I'm not doing super light either. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. I'm kind of shading a little bit in over the pink just to sort of blend it in a little bit. You know, I might just go all the way in. You know, I might just go all the way over this. I kind of like that. All the way except for a little bit that I'm going to leave open. Okay. Now, I'm going to break out this. Ta-da. Oops, there we go. Ta-da. And this one, if I'm not mistaken, my poor eyes can tell. I hate it when I can't see. Yeah, I wanted to make sure before I say, yeah, it's medium flesh. I thought so, but I wanted to make double sure. And so these are, as you can tell, the labels are highly reflective, and small, so it makes it difficult for me to see them sometimes. I'm going to start a little bit in on the terracotta. The flesh colors in this are amazing. They really are. They're like these amazing shades of pink. And you see how vibrant these are. That bit of mineral oil just really, really is an amazing thing. I mean, the vibrancy is incredible. See how nice that terracotta goes over it, though? These pencils are absolutely amazing. I mean, they hold a point forever and a day. Okay. Now, I'm going to go back in with, let's see, I think I'm going to use my cinnamon. Is also an excellent color. Somebody the other day was saying that their most used pencil is cinnamon, which is this one right here. Doo-doo. I don't use it that much. This obviously, and the terracotta are my most used pencils. Everybody has their own, you know, pencil that they use a lot of. I mean, it really is kind of an individual thing, but you see how beautiful these pencils lay down. I'm just like, ugh. I mean, I have very few pencils I actually hate. The shuttle art would be one of them. I hated those pencils so bad. I gave them away to my neighborhood children. I mean, I still have my Amazon Basics. That's how bad I hated the shuttle art. They were horrible. I was like, here, kids, you want some free pencils? They're like, yeah. And you know, the thing with the difference really between the shuttle art and, not shuttle art, the Faber-Castell Polychromous and the Brutfuner Polychromous really is just that the quality level, you know, is different. Now, that's not to say that the Brutfuners are not worth getting. They are. But you have to expect certain differences, you know. you're not going to have quite the same quality. The vibrancy is not quite as bad as great. They don't hold their point quite as much. They're not in open stock. So there are certain drawbacks. And the 120 in the squares in Chinese. Huh. Yeah. That was kind of a shock. I mean, it looks pretty, though. It really does. I have to say, it looks really pretty. It's in gold and stuff. It looks really nice. I'm not at all, like, I just can't tell the color names. Now, I'm going to go back in with the light flash just to bring out some of the highlight again. Just kind of smush it. This will make great skin tone, by the way. If altered slightly. Now, I'm going to take my little, this is a Prisma pencil blender. And I'm going to blend this out a little bit. You know what? I think I'm going to add a little white too, actually, really quick. I think I'm going to add a little bit of white just in the center. Now. All right. And with the pens, these Prisma blender pencils, you really do need to color with them in a specific way, or use them properly, or it's not going to really, you're not going to have the same results that you want. I use these lightly in just in one direction. And I clean them often, because as you can see, I hope, there is, see, that little mark was what was on the tip of the pencil. So it can collect on the pencil and the blender pencil and cause you to have negative results. So, and I don't go all hardcore with this either, because then it just puts down too much wax and it burnishes too hard, which is basically what I'm doing right now. Now I'm going to go in with this white, and I'm actually going to burnish some with the white. I don't typically do that, but in this case I think it's going to work. You want to talk about a good white. The whole white's soft. Oh my gosh, that pencil, Lord have mercy. That thing is ridiculous. But for a hard pencil, now I think I'm actually going to go back in with this Terracotta just a little bit. I think I'm tweak it just a little. I think I put on a little too much white. And this, by the way, is Venetian Red. This is a great color. It's kind of like a really pinkish red. I'm gonna do I'll do a little sample for you. This is a great color. Whoops, a little too hard. Sometimes the habit sort of dies hard. How's that for amazing? Isn't that an amazing color? It's great for skin tone. I mean, it's great for a whole host of things. And in this case, I think I laid down a little too much white. And I lost too much of my color, which is the reason why I don't burnish with white too often, because it dulls the colors out and I lose some of that vibrancy. But in this case, since I didn't go all hardcore with either of them, I can still go back in over, and I'm making a great skin tone, to be honest. Wow, I like that. I'm just tweaking it a little. If I get silent, it just means I'm concentrating. Alright. So that is basically what some of these colors lay down like. And this is 70 to 80 pound drawing paper. And the nice thing about these blender pencils is, unlike with the Caran d'Ache, I can actually go back over these. Once I use the Caran d'Ache, it's done. I very seldom can put anything more down. With these, as long as you don't go super heavy with them, you can kind of go back in with a little more color if you want. Now, the Caran d'Ache does make things look a little richer. I will not even argue that. But I don't know. They are a unique thing. Definitely, they are their own little animal, so to speak. There. I hope you like that. And also, if you want, you can sort of just kind of go in like this with a Q-tip. That's how rich and vibrant these lay down. It's just really sort of incredible. You can tweak and tweak and tweak, and this paper is, this Blick drawing paper is pretty resilient. Alright guys, that is the Faber-Castell. That's what some of the pencils look like. So I'm going to pause it now and I'm going to move on to the Brutfuners. Okay, so for this part of the comparison and review, I'm going to color with the 180 pencils. So it might make this video a little long, but I promise you it's I hope worth it, because I think it's important to not just show the swatches, but to show how each pencil lays down. This is also a different kind of paper too. The Faber-Castells do good. They do really good on this hard paper. But they do good in almost anything. So, you know, I would say these Brutfuners, though, they, to me, do better on harder paper, because they behave more like, these ones in particular, behave more like a oil-based pencil. So I'm going to work on this cake right here. And I'm going to swatch out a little beforehand on this paper, so you can also compare next to these. The colors are not the same, but I mean, you can see how it goes on drawing paper versus the harder paper. So I think I'm going to start with the just oh so creative pink. Whoops, there we go. Sorry. And I'm going to lay that down here. Make sure it's in camera. And as you can see, these do lay down a little differently. But still, if you use a light hand, because you see where I'm holding it, right? They still will function quite well. I mean, yeah, they don't have quite the same vibrancy. They're not going to. They're a budget pencil. However, the Brutfuners, both the 180 and the 120, are, to me, quality budget pencils. There's crappy budget pencils, and there's quality budget pencils. The Brutfuners they're like Castle Arts. They are a good quality budget pencil. But that's kind of what this looks like on drawing paper. If that is at all helpful. This is probably 64-pound drawing paper. Strathmore. It's fantastic paper. But that's what that looks like. And I'm going to work on the cherries. So hopefully you can see. These really do color good on almost any paper, though. The only, I mean, if I had to say, you know, obviously the Faber-Castells, you know, are higher, a slightly higher quality. They really are. I mean, they're made, I believe, in Germany, so, you know, I think that they probably, you know, do things a little bit differently than, say, some factory in China. But really, they're both good pencils, and if you can't afford the Faber-Castell Polychromous, then the 180 and the 120 are absolutely good alternatives. So I really do think that. Because I've got high quality, I've got Holbein's, everything from Holbein's to Amazon Basics. And, you know, some are obviously better than others. See how rich? For a budget pencil, this is from the 180 set. And you can see it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It really isn't. This is Scarlet. Oops, sorry. So it's really not bad. I know some people are going, ooh, the 120. Yes, the 120 is good. And I'm going to color a little bit from that set too. And then we'll be done. But for a budget pencil, these really are not too bad. I mean, they're both decent pencils. It's just like, you know, the Faber-Castell may be out of some people's range. And, you know, so if you're looking for something that's cheaper, these really are an excellent alternative. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, there's my maroon I was looking for. This is the maroon. Ta-da. Oops. There we go. Sorry about that. These really are an excellent alternative. And I'll show you in a little bit how the 120 and the 180 do differ a little bit. I'll show you in a little bit when I'm finished coloring my cherries. And let's find the burnishing color. I don't think that's it. Let's see. That might be it. Let's test this color out, shall we? Ooh, there we go. This is Plum. And you can see that it really behaves quite nicely. But it does behave differently on the drawing paper versus the this hard paper. You can get more layers out of this drawing paper because it's Strathmore. Versus this really super smooth paper that is typical of Johanna Bashford's books. You don't need as many layers, which is nice. Some people don't like to layer. I personally do get impatient sometimes, and I'm using some of the nicer paper, like the Strathmore paper. I do get impatient, and because you do have to use, this is pink, you do have to use more layers. It's just the way the paper is done. I wish I could show you. I've looked through it on a magnifying glass, and that's why the Faber-Castell Polychromous and even these Brutfuners do better on this paper, because you can just put in layer after layer and it just adds that depth. With the harder paper here, you have to, especially with the Brutes and the Fabers, you do have to be very mindful of your layers, because you will not be able to put in as many. And especially the softer the pencil, the less layers you're going to get. It's, for me, that's my personal experience. Now I'm going to grab my little blender here. Oh, I keep forgetting to put a page between this. She says to do that, and she's right. It is a good idea, just sometimes forget. Now see, that is not quite what I'm after, so I'm going to grab a brighter red. This is deep pink. Here, I'll even show this one. This really doesn't remind me of, it's more of a coral, but yeah, this might be what I'm looking for. Yeah. Now what I'm going to do is grab me some of the Faber-Castell, because I can't find my for white. And this is the ivory from the Faber-Castell. You see how itty bitty it is. So if you can afford the Faber-Castells, like I said, they're about $180 on average on Amazon. You know, obviously I would go with those first. But if you can't, and you just want to experiment with a oil-based pencil, then both the Brutfuners are an excellent alternative. They truly are. And if you want to get really fancy, you can take your little, this isn't a Posca, but it's kind of like a Posca. It's Colliart or whatever, and just you can do that. So that's kind of, you know, how those sound. So now I'm going to pull out the 120 and color with those. Okay, so I grabbed my square Brutfuners. Now I will say this, the square ones come sharpened like this. Whoops, hold on, sorry about that. They come sharpened like this. So it's you know, kind of a short sharpen, and the reason why they do that is because they transport better. They don't break. If you sharpen too much, they're not gonna, you know, they're gonna break. So the thing with the Brutfuners though, the 120 set, because they're square, you have to use a sort of a larger hole. The Dolly 133 will accommodate them. My electric sharpener, I don't know if you can see. There we go. I do have to use this hole. This is AFMAT, by the way. This sharpener is from AFMAT. Great sharpener. I do have to use the second to largest hole. Now the thing with this is when you use this sharpener like that, you have to hold it very still while you sharpen it, because, and don't let go of it. I know it's loud, but I'll show you. Sorry, that thing is on its last legs. It's been well used. You have to hold it still, because it will, if it wobbles, it can break. Now the one thing with the budget pencils, especially the square ones, I have noticed is that sometimes instead of sharpening, you know, kind of all even like this, and this is, by the way, what they look like. So there's the pencil name. They can sharpen kind of wonky. The Faber-Castell Polychromous do not sharpen like that. They can sharpen kind of wonky. Do you see how that is? How it's kind of sharpened. Do you see how the wood is? Okay. The budget pencils can, they all tend to do that. So that's just a cautionary note. They can kind of sharpen kind of wonky like that. So hold on one second while I sharpen. I forgot to sharpen this over. Sorry. Oops, see, and if you're not careful, see, I didn't hold on to it, and see what happened. So hold on a second. Okay, sorry about that. But yeah, that's a cautionary note. With these ones, as you saw, I apparently didn't hold on to it enough, and it wiggled around a little bit. Because you're fitting a square thing in a round hole, you have to go like a little size up. And with the electric sharpeners, you really do got to hold on to them so they don't wiggle, because then they will break like that. So I would recommend, if you have the patience, using the Dolly sharpener, which I have off camera, because that way that's a lot less likely to happen. However, I have rheumatoid arthritis, so I tend to not use the manual sharpeners as much. It kind of wears out my hands a little bit. So let's get to it. I'm going to start with my white, and because the white from the 120 set, basically it was a bad pencil. It was decimated. It just did not, there we go. It didn't, it was bad. I'm going to grab my Prisma white, which is unfortunately the only white I can find at the moment, because I used up my white in the Brutfuners, and the Brutfuner 120 white was bad, so as I said, so I'm just kind of grabbing what I've got handy. But it should be interesting to see how the oil-based pencil lays over the oily-based Brutfuners. That ought to be interesting. Let's give that a go, shall we? So here is whatever pink this is. I don't know. It's number 11. If anybody knows the names to these, please enlighten me. I really don't know. So I apologize, I have to turn this at a slight angle. Wow, that's going very nice over it. I'm kind of impressed. So, if anybody wants to know, the 120s, which I think have more oil in them, or more mineral oil, whatever, they go over very nicely over the Prisma. At least the Prisma white anyway. That looks absolutely outstanding. I'm going to actually go over that a little too with the pink. It actually goes really nicely over that. I'm duly impressed. So, the Brutfuner squares play very nicely with the Prismas. So far, anyway. That was an interesting little experiment I hadn't planned. They behave nicely together. Truly, I was like, ah, that was kind of a surprise. So, pardon me for once again turning this on. Make sure it's still in camera. Okay. Sorry, I gotta turn it again, guys. I apologize. And this is number 12. Oh, there we go. Oh, no. Sorry. Like I said, I never claim to be a professional, guys. I'm not. I babble sometimes and I go off on rabbit trails. But my rabbit trails usually have a point. A relevant point. So, or there's something important that I feel you as a subscriber would find, or viewer would find valuable. So it's not just nonsensical babble. They're usually meaningful rabbit trails. Ooh, that looks nice. You know, it would be very interesting to. I did a review comparison of Prismas and Brutfuners, I believe. If that doesn't show up on this, my Sherry's Coloring and Painting Corner, let me know in the comments. It may be stuck on my old channel that I no longer use for my art stuff. It's just kind of for my other things. Please let me know and I will transfer it over. I recently was made aware of the fact that not all of my stuff on my old channel isn't showing up on the new, and I thought it was. So if you don't see a tutorial / comparison of the Prismas and the Brutfuners, let me know in the comments and I will take care of that immediately. I was a little upset to find out that was a thing, because I was telling somebody about it and they went looking for this one tutorial and couldn't find it, and I'm like, what's happening? And that was apparently what was the deal. So I'm good. Just going over the cherries with this red. Okay. Now I'm going to go in at the very edges here with this red. This is just like to deepen. I'm basically using this number 10. I didn't realize that 10, 11, 12. Yeah. Just to kind of deepen that pink up a little bit. Just on the very edges. The rule of threes is really important. You got your light, medium, dark. You always should have a light, medium, and dark, even if it's a tiny area. And if you want to, for larger areas, if you want to add, more of each of those, you can. Sorry, that's my cat. She's going hog wild on her scratch and post. Anyway, you can add more if you need to, but you really should always have one of each. So basically I have, in my Brutfuners 120, I have the 12, the 10. Now this is the odd one. I think it's like 10. 107, and then the 13, or 11, excuse me. So I'm going to go back over this a little bit, just to kind of blend it out a little. And I'm going to grab my medium. And I'm just going to kind of deepen that shadow a little bit. And it looks like I'm seesawing. I'm really not. I'm just going fast, so the video doesn't end up being like super long. Look at my videos. Sometimes they're more like a stream, the length of a stream, maybe a little bit shorter, because that's just how I do things. Now, I'm going to go back in with the white Prisma. And I'm going to go in here because I wiped there. Now, doesn't that look gorgeous? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my Fabers. And these are absolutely gorgeous, but you see what I mean about the where we go? Sorry, light, medium, dark. And the medium is, this is light, medium, and then dark. You see how nice that plays together? So, and the same could be said for these other ones that I used in the 180 set for the Brutfuners. They play, you got your lights, sorry, there you go. You got your lights and your medium and your dark. So, ta-da! These are definitely a little bit different though than the regular Brutfuners. They really are different. They lay down a little smoother and a little more vibrant, which tells me there's a little bit more oil in them. The 180s are a little harder, but they're still pretty nice and vibrant. They hold their point a little bit longer than the 120s. Again, that tells me that there's a different chemical composition. So having put that aside, I'm going to pull out my Fabers and color a little bit more with this, and then we'll be done. Okay, so I have my Faber-Castells. I thought I would color a little bit in the book here on this harder, smoother paper, since I had only colored on the drawing paper with them. And I have a bonus. I also have some Goldfabers, which are the student grade for Faber-Castell. And these are the 3 colors. Oops, and I just have a broken lid. Wow. I might have a bad pencil here. Hold on. I'm sorry. There. Hold on. I might have a bad pencil. This one's been breaking a lot. There we go. Sorry. This one's been breaking a lot. Sometimes pencils, even the better brand pencils, sometimes you can get a bad pencil. It happens. So anyway, as I was saying, before I was interrupted by that, I have the Faber-Castell Goldfabers that I thought I'd do a little something with. So I will do that at the end. But for the time being, I have, look at these beautiful colors. Aren't they absolutely gorgeous? These are dark indigo, cobalt green, and halo turquoise. They are, this is what I'm talking about, your light, your medium, and your dark. Whoops, sorry, hold on a second. There we go. You got your light in the middle, and then you got your medium with the halo, and then your dark indigo is your dark color. The rule of threes. It really, I can't stress that enough because it really does matter. Now I'm going to grab my Faber white, which I did fine, and I'm going to go a little bit in the middle, and I'm also going to go over this part because I want it to be white. The white Faber-Castell is actually pretty nice for when you're wanting to maintain your highlights. Unlike the white Prisma, it kind of how do you say it? It kind of stays put a little bit more. Now I'm going to make sure you guys can see. And I'm sorry for that. There we go. Sorry about that. I'm trying to get a good angle. The struggle is real. See how buttery that is? How vibrant and buttery these Faber-Castells are? It's pretty incredible. And while the Brutfuners, especially the 120, is also buttery and vibrant, you really can't, it's really not a fair comparison. I would say, I guess as I've said before, if you want to do a budget equivalent, I would say the Brutfuners, especially the 120, is an excellent comparison. So if you can't afford the Faber-Castells, the Brutfuners, 120s in particular, are an excellent alternative. I suggest getting both, honestly. And surprisingly, the Goldfabers are not too bad either. I will show you in a little bit. They kind of surprised me. They tend to break out of the wood casing a little bit more like a budget pencil, which they kind of are. But I mean, for being a quote-unquote student grade pencil, they're not too bad. Oh, I think I put the wrong color in the middle. Shoot. Well, that's okay. It's really hard to color around these little bits and bobs, as somebody, one of my streamer friends calls it, the bits and bobs. It gets challenging. That's where sometimes short little strokes or circles are probably best in this tight little area. And that's why I put the white in that small spot, because I wanted, in case I accidentally went over it, it would still kind of stand out. You know, if this mix comes out as good as I think, it's definitely going down in my book. I'm training a new mix for you guys. So, and I think the Brutfuner 120, where the cake part is, I think those look beautiful together. I like it. how buttery and smooth that is. It just, I mean, as long as you use, and I am holding it toward the end because I have to use, I'm using such a tiny area, or doing such a tiny area, but I'm still coloring with a light hand, and that's just training. You know, in the beginning you're gonna need to hold it back here, but after a while you can I promise you it is possible. If I can learn to color with a light hand, anybody can. Trust me, I was one of the heaviest handed colorists you'll ever meet, but I just persevered, and I can hold it to the end now, and I don't color nearly as hard as I used to, but it takes a lot of mental energy to force myself not to color harder when I got my hands so close to the tip. It takes training, but don't give up, okay? You can do it, I promise. Absolutely stunning. Not to like brag or nothing, but that's good. So I laid down a little white, and then I laid down the light, the medium, the dark, and now I'm going back over with the light a little bit. You frequently will want to do that, especially if your highlight area got a little dull, which sometimes can happen, or your blending isn't what you would like. Sometimes going back over it with the same layers, repeating and kind of tweaking it like that can really be helpful. It gives it depth. You see what I mean? It really does help to just have some patience. And I'm going back over the dark indigo with the mid-tone just to lighten it up a little bit, because I cannot find my black Faber. It's swatched in my book, so I've got it somewhere, but it is MIA. So hopefully it'll come in with the rest of my pencils and I'll get a replacement. But look at that. Isn't that gorgeous, you guys? Oh, I love it. Love, love, love it. And I'm going back in with the white. Now I'm going to get my little blender, and it's still, now this is where it's important to clean off the tip of these, because I don't know if you could see the red pigment that's still stuck on the end of it. Oh, and this is the Helio Turquoise. I forgot I was going to do this for you guys. There's your dark, and it is a little crumbly, especially on the rough side of the drawing paper. It will crumble just a little bit more than maybe normal. I love this color. It is gorgeous, gorgeous color. And this is also one of my favorites. It is the Cobalt Green. Oh, that's so pretty. And let's see, here's the dark indigo. I thought I had indigo, but it's on its way. It's one of the, it's in my order, blick order, that is taking forever. But it's almost a black. It's almost like a bluish black. That's what dark indigo reminds me of. It's like this bluish black. I bet you if you took a cold gray, a deep cold gray, and a white and mixed it together, I bet you could get that. Or like a blue, not a white, sorry. Well, a little white, a little like a dark cold gray and like a mid black. You could probably make this, but isn't that gorgeous? I made a denim color with using the dark indigo and it was one of the other colors. Let's see if I can find it. Oh well. Anyway, I made the best. It's my camel page. Where'd it go? Hold on. I know it's a rabbit trail, but oh, you're getting a flip through of Worlds of Wonder, by the way. Just enjoy. Where is my camera? There it is. All right. I made the best. Hold on. Not enough space. I made the best denim with this, and I did a video with it, and the files didn't apparently transfer to my computer like I thought, and got deleted off of my camcorder, so they were just gone entirely. But yeah, isn't that beautiful? Like that denim color. I used the dark indigo and sky blue. That's what it was. Faber-Castell Polychromous. If you take a dark indigo and a sky blue, you make this wonderful denim color. It's look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Sorry. I hope you enjoyed the little flip through. But yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to smooth this out a little. As I clean up my pencil. Make sure you guys can still see. And if burnishing, however way you choose to do it, is really, really important. I know it doesn't relate to the general topic, which is the Brutfuners versus the Polychromous Faber-Castell. However, this is important because when you burnish, however way you choose to do it, it really does add a like a finished look, because what you're doing is you're flattening the tooth of the paper and filling out all the white spaces or cream colored spaces or whatever you choose to use. You're filling out that tooth and sort of smushing everything around, and it just gives it a more polished look. Super, super important. I know it's tedious, but you see how well the Faber-Castells are blending? They're incredible pencils. If you can afford them, I would get them first. However, if you're new to using polys, get the Brutfuners. Start with the 120 set, and if you can, I recommend going ahead and getting the 180 set. They are a little bit of as I said, a little bit of a different animal, but they are still a really good pencil set. They're metallic. I don't know what I did with it, but I did a thing on metallic. Hold on, I'm gonna look for it. This is so important. I did a piece here using a metallic gold pen and the Brutfuner metallics. Now the gold part is metallic jelly pen, but all these these little bits in this heart are all from the 180 metallics. That's all these are. And then I burnished them out. I forget which way I used a couple different methods, but these are the metallics from the Brutfuner 180. Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, they are really nice. They're probably the best thing about that 180 set is the metallics. They are incredible. Now, so this is, the top is the Brutfuner 180, the middle is the 120, This piece, this bit right here is the Faber-Castell Polychromous, and as a bonus, I'm going to do some Goldfabers. Now the Goldfabers, I have, they just, I think, yeah, they just have the numbers. They don't have any names. Well, they do have names, but not on the pencils. Let me see if I can pull out my book. Oh, where'd my book go? Dang it. Oh, here it is. Alright, cool. I know I'm going on a rabbit trail, but since I'm showing you these Goldfabers real quickly, and I hope the video is not running too long, but I usually have a lot to say. Let's see. Let's see if I can find them. I put all my, like, Amazon basics, or, you know, all the sort of crappy stuff, semi-crappy stuff at the back. Here we are. These are the, that's the Shapiro Farbins. Here we are. These are the Faber-Castell, whoops, whoa, off camera, sorry. Oh, sorry, my bad. Pardon me. These are the Faber-Castell Goldfabers, and they're the student grade. There's not very many of them. There's only 48 for the largest set, but this is the swatch that I did of them. So they do have names, just not on the pencils, which is really weird, right? So I picked out 121, which on my chart is Pale Geranium Lake, and then 192. Let's see if I can find it. I know. There we go. Where are you? Hello. It took me a while to sort of figure this out, because I was like, what is happening here, you know? There it is, Indian Red. And then the one that kept breaking on me, which is 126, and that is Carmine Permanent. So there are names, but you'll have to go on the internet and look, or on the Faber-Castell website, because they just have the numbers on the pencils. That's why I wanted to pull this out, so you could see that there are actual names. They're just not on the pencil. It's bizarre, right? I don't know what the deal with that is, but at any rate, what I'm going to do is zoom in, and I'm going to do these cherries on the bottom. If I can get my stupid camera to work. Okay, there we go. Ta-da! Alright. Actually, I need to start with a white. Hold on. Where's my white? This is the Faber-Castell Polychromous, the regular. I'm going to do a little white on the top. Really quick. There. That's just to sort of set my highlight in place, basically. They are pretty cheap though. A whole set is under 40 for like 48 of them. It's pretty reasonable. And they're not bad pencils. I mean, if you're just starting out, these are a good pencil to start with. And I think these are wax and not oil, but I'm not 100% sure. That is one thing I actually don't know, but I'm going to find out really quick, because I think that's important. Let's see, hold on, let me look real quick. Oh, that's actually something I don't know. So they are wax. I thought so, but I wanted to be sure. I didn't want to give you misinformation. I thought that they were wax. They are not oil, but they are still pretty vibrant and buttery, but they are wax and not oil. So I threw this in just because I had them in the same thing, and I thought that you guys would like to see these in action because they're actually not bad pencils. They lay down very nicely. They're a little bit firm. They're like, I don't know, like a Castle Arts or Shapiro Farben, which are oil based, but these lay down a little bit like those. They're very buttery for you know, a student grade pencil. They're not bad at all. Now I'm going to use my white. They're really decent pencils. So now I'm going to take my black, if I can find it. Got my pencils rolling off the dang desk. Where's my black? That's weird. Well, I'm missing the black in this also. How about that? That is bizarre. I don't know what's going on here. And I'm just going to put a little of this like burnt, I think it's like a burnt umber probably. That'll make a good alternative. Just to add a little depth. And then I'm going to go back in with my mid-tone. The one that kept breaking, the carmine. I think a lot of reds and pinks tend to be like that because I think it's the type of whatever they draw their pigment from. But I just thought I'd throw that in for kicks and giggles since I happen to have them handy. I put them with the Faber-Castell Polychromous just because they're both Fabers, and I thought it would be, you know, appropriate. So I'm going to take my little blender pencil and clean it off first and blend it out, and voila, there we have it. Isn't that gorgeous? So to sum it up, basically the Faber-Castell Polychromous is, if you can afford it, your first choice. They run about $180 for a full set of 120. The Brutfuner 180s run about 33 to 40. The 120s in the squared brutes are probably the closest to the oil base because they're a little buttery. They tend to run 25 to 30. They're very cheap. And as far as comfort goes, the square ones and the brutes are probably the most comfortable because of their shape. Faber-Castell Goldfabers and Polychromous tend to have the most in open stock. The Brutfuners do not have open stock that I know of, but because of their cheap price, if you're missing a few pencils, it's probably worth it for you if you use them a lot, just to go ahead and get a just so I can get a whole new set and you'll have extra. So that is all that I have, and there is no more. I really do hope you enjoyed this. I know it's a little long, but I have a lot to say, and I try to make it relevant. And if I do go on a rabbit trail, I try to make it worthwhile. I really hope that you guys have a good one. Take care of yourselves, and I will catch you next time.